Hello guys, welcome to my new predictions. This is going to be the first video about the predictions that I have for September. You guys remember that I always make predictions, monthly predictions, and this time I've decided to cover Apple. Some people requested Apple over on X, my X account, so you want to follow me, check that out. And I also decided to keep going with NVIDIA because these two are part of the Magnificent Seven, so these stocks will pretty much be able to cover in a general picture the entire tech stocks. I mean, could be some exceptions, of course, and one thing that you will see immediately with these charts is that both of them are almost identical. This is normal. This has already happened to me when I cover, for example, NVIDIA and Microsoft, or NVIDIA and Tesla. Both were very similar, with some minor differences in some days, but overall the picture is very identical almost. So next month I am thinking that I will be doing some stock and some forex or some other indicator to spice things up a little bit. But yeah, guys, let's begin with this chart. This one is Apple. So again, part of the Magnificent Seven. I'll be covering the entire month of September, and the first day, which is tomorrow, the first circle, we have 3 or 4 for a red one, and a single day with a 3 and the green one. So that means that tomorrow is going to be a very volatile day. Could be very ranges as well. Depends on what the price actually does. But I'm thinking that one of these two outcomes is going to prevail over the another. What could happen is that we could see, for example, the worst case scenario, that 3 and 4 are red and we don't even have an impulse tomorrow. We could also see that, for example, the next circle is a 3-day in a red circle. This means that not all of these 3 days in consecutive order are going to be red, but there could be some red here and there, for example, especially on the 4 and 6, since 5 is already shared by this green circle. So the 5 of September could be a day in a very volatile way, could maybe go upwards. That could be in the impulse, but we need to check out for the 4th and 6th of September. These days are going to be very critical, and these days could easily decide wherever this week is going to be an impulse, a green week, so to say, or a red week. Now the next week we have 9 or 10 of September in the green. So one of these 2 days, or even both of them, could be an impulse. And the next day is 11, also covered by 2 circles sharing that same day. We have a red one with 11 and a green one with 11 and 12, or 12. So again, these days 11 or 12 could see an impulse, but 11 is going to be very volatile, and that day could actually be a downtrend. It all depends whatever this day is engulfed by whichever circle, either the green or the red one. And finally, on Friday, it's going to be 13th of September. That day, I think, is going to be a red day, like easily a red day. So this is where the fun really stops, because after these 2 weeks that are the first ones, the next 2 are especially very bad. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of reds, lots of yellows, very few green ones until the last week actually. So the next circle is 16 or 17 of September. These days are going to be red, either one of the two. So be sure to watch out. 17th of August is going to be very volatile, I think. I'm seeing some green energies, but overall the trend for the week is red, really. Corrections could be even more powerful than the so-called impulse that we could potentially see in these yellow circles. So I'm thinking this will be more like a volatility day, in the sense that, for example, in previous charts you saw that You have a day where the price ends on a very similar position to the one we start. That's basically a yellow day by the book, so we could see that happening in this week and in this other week as well. In fact, in this other week, we have 3 days in a single yellow circle. So 3 days. I'm thinking these days are not going to be that volatile. Could be, but I'm thinking that there could be more like a range, more like a nothing burger. The price is going to basically do nothing in these days. I am predicting. It could be volatile because yellow has that meaning. Yellow circles either mean volatility or range. But I'm leaning towards more like a range, especially in these days or one of these 2 days. And finally, the last week, just basically Monday and Tuesday. Monday 30th of September is going to be a yellow day, and there's a lot of potential for that 1st of October. The 1st of October could be a very volatile day, leaning towards an impulse, maybe, could see. So it seems, and I'm saying that it seems because I really have not made a really detailed research on what this month is going to be, but it seems that for at least Apple, it's going to be a downtrending month, general downtrend. I don't know how low we could actually go, but September is always like that. September is always very tough on stocks, especially tech stocks. But anyways, that's all for Apple, and let's see NVIDIA, guys. And you again, like I was saying in the beginning, this chart is you're going to look that it is very similar. It's very similar to the one we just saw for Apple. And this is normal because both stocks are part of the Magnificent Seven. Both stocks are tech stocks, so that's very to be expected. And this time with NVIDIA, we have that the first day is 3 and or 4 of September are going to be yellow. This time the price is going to probably consolidate, leading towards the impulse by either 4 or 5 of September. Could happen in one of these 2 days or even both. You guys, I mean, this is very possible to happen, but finally, on Friday is going to be a yellow day. That day could be kind of volatile, kind of a mix of the two, range and volatility, because the next week we are opening on the red, like consecutive reds. That will be the worst case scenario here, the worst apocalyptic kind of stuff. So we could see that on Monday, which is 9 of September or 10 of September. These 2 days could be volatile on the red, on the downtrend. And also for the next circle, which is 10 or 11, we could see even more, an even lower correction happening in these days. Like I said, this has the potential of having 3 consecutive red days. The thing that I'm thinking that will happen is that we're only going to get 2 red days. Whether or not they're going to be consecutive, I don't know. But the worst case scenario right here is 3 consecutive red days. And I don't think that's going to happen. But anyways, let's see what happens then. Notice that 11 of September is also shared with this small green circle. That means because there's a small possibility that day could be very volatile, leaning towards an uptrend. That will be the best case scenario for us. This will be kind of a breathing room for these very bad weeks that are coming. The final circle of that week is going to be yellow, 12 or 13 of August. Again, these days could be a cool down or some kind of recovery after these massive corrections that could happen in these next days. Now the next week opens with a yellow one. We have it 16 or 17 of August. We are going to expect some price, maybe some stabilization of some sorts. We could see the price actually do nothing, more like a range in one of these 2 days. Could be both. because the next circles are also red on the consecutive. We have 17 or 18 and 19 or 20. So again, a similar scenario like the one that we just analyzed here could repeat in this other week. Again, the worst case scenario, 3 consecutive red days, and I don't think that's going to happen. Either one of these 2 days are going to be, of both circles are going to be red, but I don't think it's going to be all of the 3 at once. With also a small possibility of an impulse on the 20. So if there's not an impulse, at least there will be a lot of volatility on that day. And the next week is 3 consecutive yellow circles. These days are going to be very similar to Apple. I mean, these stocks are going to be very identical in that sense. So whatever happens to Apple or whatever happens to NVIDIA will be reflected in the other stock. So that could happen here in these 3 days, 23, 24, and 25 of September, leaning towards a correction by the 26th. And Thursday, so that will happen on that day, and another yellow circle by 27. So notice that we're not seeing really recoveries from these days. The price could end on a similar position to the one we started, just have more volatility, but there will not be a powerful impulse, I think, in this week. And finally, again, just like Apple, NVIDIA is going to close with a yellow and a green. Yellow on the 30 and a possibility of the green on the 30 and the 1st of October. So the best case scenario here is that these 2 days are going to be green one. Maybe the month will kind of stabilize by the final week. Who knows, guys, but so far I think this case will be very similar to the one with NVIDIA, meaning that there's high possibilities of being a downtrend month, a general downtrend. So be aware of that and take care with your finances, whatever. Just be aware of that. That's the potential, the possibility of this month. So having said that, guys, I don't want to make this video any longer. This is the first presentation, so we'll keep updating these charts as always as the weeks come by. So be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and be sure to follow all of this on my other socials. I also make some small updates on other, especially on X. I'm way more active on X, but I'm very present on basically other kind of social media, most of them at least. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys later. Take care.